You have come to the correct place if you're seeking for films that are a little, or a lot, off the beaten path. We'll be looking at films that have some traditional features but a lot of weird or bizarre themes or storytelling for this list. You should mentally prepare yourself before seeing these flicks, which range from strange to terrifying to where am I and how did I get here? Who doesn't enjoy a film that is completely strange and unfathomable every now and then? Fortunately, the cinematic world has presented us with a plethora of bizarre and insane flicks. We whittled them down to the strangest of the strange. Some are ancient, while others are new, and some have been hits, while others have been flops. Some of these flicks are strange enough to make you think, while others are just plain violent and gross. If you want to watch one of the gory ones, we recommend skipping the popcorn. Prepare yourself for the 10 weirdest movies of all time by being aware of certain spoilers ahead. Welcome to The Amazing Facts. Stay tuned. The top 10 weirdest films. Subscribe to our channel for more videos. Number 10. Eraserhead. Many regard David Lynch to be the founder of modern weird cinema, and he has numerous films on this list, beginning with Eraserhead, a surrealist body horror film released in 1977. If we ever made a strange television show, Twin Peaks, one of his masterpieces, would be at the top of the list. Blue Velvet, Rabbits, Fire Walk with Me, and Mulholland Drive are among his other strange films. The man in the planet pulls some levers in space, while the head of Henry Spencer floats above the clouds in Eraserhead. A sperm monster floats away from his mouth. A strong start to a strange film. There are many scenes in the film, which has a very loose plot, that are considered uncomfortable and disturbing. Most famous is the disturbing appearance of Henry Spencer's baby. The film definitely has a lot of body horror and nightmare elements. But it's also been praised for its precise use of sound and oral landscape. Number 9. Brazil. A workaday bureaucrat becomes enamored with the neighbor of a recently deceased, suspected terrorist and becomes an enemy of the state in the process. Similar to the society depicted in George Orwell's classic 1984, it's director Terry Gilliam's visual aesthetic that propels this science fantasy to the top of the list. As seemingly routine scenes like a plastic surgeon at work leave an indelible impression on viewers. Another masterstroke by the director of this eccentric picture is transforming an actor like Robert De Niro, who was known for tough man roles at the time, into the wacky suspected bomber. Number 8. Naked Lunch. This 1991 science fiction play is based on William S. Burroughs' considerably wilder novel of the same name, as well as excerpts from his earlier writings. The film was co-produced by filmmakers from the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Japan. The end result was a bizarre, nasty, and slightly amusing film. The adaptation was directed by David Cronenberg, who also directed Videodrome. So far, he's the weirdest director frontrunner. Naked Lunch tells the story of William Lee, a pest control technician whose wife abuses his insecticide as a recreational drug. After a game of William Tell, he hallucinates numerous alien-like and roach-like monsters and accidentally murders his wife. To avoid being charged with murder, he flees to a place known as Interzone. He comes across doppelgangers, horrible mutations, and other oddities there. Many characters are modeled on famous beat writers like Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, and the plot is partially based on genuine events that Burroughs experienced as a heroin user. Number 7. Rubber. Rubber is a 2010 French indie horror comedy film directed by Quentin Dupieux and released in English. The history of cinema has included several unexpected killers, dating back to Monty Python and the Holy Grail's Killer Rabbit of Gerbonog, but this film possibly takes the cake. When a tire comes to life, it starts to roll about, pulsate, and develop the potential to blow people's heads off. This revelation is the impetus for a bizarre murdering spree unlike anything you've ever seen. Meanwhile, a group of people wearing binoculars watches the commotion that the tire causes as if it were a movie. Number 6. Mulholland Drive. David Lynch wrote and directed Mulholland Drive, a surrealist neo-noir mystery film released in 2001. A bright-eyed young actress moves to Hollywood only to become entangled in a sinister plot involving a woman who was nearly murdered and now suffers from amnesia due to a car accident. Both women are eventually drawn into a crazy illusion involving a hazardous blue box, a director named Adam Kesher, and the enigmatic Silencio nightclub. Number 5. The Holy Mountain. The Holy Mountain is mostly a comedy, a social criticism, and a fantasy of something otherworldly. Jodorowsky was a spiritual nomad, and his films are a mashup of the pseudo-religious sensibilities that were popular in the 1960s and 1970s, when midnight movies were gaining a cult following and the countercultural revolution was in full bloom. Both this and El Topo are bizarre allegories of Kabbalistic awakening, allegorical journeys that can be eternally profound or completely absurd, depending on your readiness to surrender to them. They're flicks that you have to watch to believe. One example, a man tries to drown a gaping-mouthed religious convert with only his breast milk until his breasts change into snarling tigers' heads and both cry out in spiritual ecstasy. Jodorowsky deals with Christ, the Bible, Christianity, and religious symbolism in a tornado of unparalleled blasphemy in the first 10 minutes of The Holy Mountain, the holy grail of midnight movies. The imagery from these 10 minutes alone would be enough to earn The Holy Mountain a spot on the list. However, the movie proceeds, never letting up for nearly 80 minutes. It wasn't intended to be seen with your parents. Or, for that matter, anyone. Number 4. Inland Empire. Lauren plays an actress who is believed to be cursed after learning that the two former lead players in the film she's shooting were murdered. She begins to lose her grip on reality as she begins to resemble her persona more and more. Initially shot as a number of discrete sequences, writer and director David Lynch discovered there were recurrent themes. So he developed Anne's character and bewilderment to allow her to play a role in each sequence. When she plays a sad woman watching a sitcom on TV about a room full of rabbits, the strangeness reaches its pinnacle. Number 3. Videodrome. Cronenberg has established himself as the leading North American personification of unadulterated horror with the release of Shivers in 1975. His films from the late 1970s and early 1980s are among the best and most daring horror pictures ever created. Although Videodrome is one of the films that frequently appears on strange lists, its most renowned parts are well worth praising. The basic premise of Cronenberg's classic Videodrome is worryingly plausible in the internet age. a man stumbles across a television channel that appears to broadcast real-life human torture and sadism, and becomes increasingly engrossed in a web of strange hallucinations and paranoid conspiracies in an attempt to decipher its signal. When the newfangled availability of home video spawned all manner of urban myths and legends, Videodrome preyed upon very real fears, and did so with Cronenberg's trademark strangeness. Number 2. Pi. Pi is a portrayal of madness, of collapsing certainty, and of a human mind's slow dissolution. It's the narrative of a man trying to discover mathematical structure in a chaotic universe, and it taps into our everlasting anxieties of death, the afterlife, and God's omnipresence. Aronofsky is known for his dark nightmares of addiction and obsession. Requiem for a Dream is one of the most distressing pictures of all time, and with his dark, Argento-inspired Black Swan, he defied the trend for Oscar nominations. Pi, on the other hand, is a low-budget thrill ride aimed at providing a purely intellectual experience of paranoia, horror, and insanity. It was done on a minimal budget, but it looks great, with crisp black and white cinematography, stifling camera angles, and synaptic brutality in bursts. Number 1. The Idiots. Lars von Trier wrote and directed The Idiots, a Danish comedy-drama film released in 1998. A group of perfectly clever young individuals decides to live together in a community of idiots in response to society's religion of an aimless, non-creative, and non-responsible version of brilliance. Their major hobby is to go out into the public and pretend to be mentally retarded in front of normal people. They take advantage of the circumstances to spread chaos wherever they go, attempting to irritate, disturb, depress. They acquire a new lost soul and introduce her to their megalomaniac leader at the start of the film. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel for latest notifications.